Hi yoga peeps. Today is all about the hamstring mojo. I get a lot of clients who come to me complaining about ache and pain in the hamstring area, or literally a pain in the ass. So number one, rest. That's the best way I can offer, particularly if it's a tear. Number two, definitely have it assessed. Go see a sports physical therapist or your doctor or your massage therapist to get an idea of whether or not this is a strain or a tear. And let me tell you, soft tissue damage is rough. It takes a long time to heal. In my yoga class, I say the no pain, no gain thing is bullshit. If you're experiencing pain, it's your body's way of warning you that you are injuring it. It's actually a pretty groovy system. There are a couple of reasons that your ass is hurting, yoga butt. It can be true strain, tear or a strain, or just overuse. There are a few things here that are going to help you stretch at the same time as offering that upper hamstring structure rest. The inclination when you start feeling this pain is to stretch more. It presents as tight muscle pain. And the more you stretch, the more you're aggravating that area of your body. So you're going to need a foam roller, my lovely, lovely friend, frenemy foam roller, and a yoga strap, and ideally a wall. And I don't have a wall here, so imagine that there's a wall. One of the best exercises or the best positions to rest and stretch the hamstring is to sit, scooch your sit bones all the way up to the wall, flex the feet, and just hang out here. So stretch right in the middle of the hamstrings. It's all non-weight bearing. I've locked this lever in so you're fixed with the hips and the back. I'm just going to hang out here. This is number one, it feels really great in the low back. Sorry, I can't help but wiggle my feet. And number two, it's going to get right in the middle of the hamstrings without any weight bearing or excess strain. So just sitting right up, butt up against the wall, feet up, little dorsal flexion of the heels. So that's the first one I would recommend. The next round is a version of Supta Baddha Konasana, which is seated cobbler, right? Cobbler or triangle pose. This one's active. You're going to scoot the heels close to the glutes. Just squeeze the toes, heels, calves, and knees together. Arms and upper body are relaxed. You're going to inhale and let these knees slide open, hang. This is a hip flexor stretch. Engage the core, push the belly down, the back down, and exhale, squeeze those knees together. You're going to do this in repetition. Once again, I like 6 to 8 repetitions. Inhaling open, let them hang for just a beat. Exhale, press the core down, press the back into the mat, squeeze them on up. I like to do 4 or 5 there, and then I'm going to worm my feet out and widen that angle. Do the same thing. I'm not worried about my feet pressing together. Engage, press. It's going to become more dramatic as you widen the angle of the knee, and then exhale, squeeze it up. And then the last round you're going to do as a little bit wider. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, engage the core, press the hips down, and squeeze up. Now, then you can also take a stay in all of these positions. That's when you're going to really push the soles of feet together, little rock side to side, and then let the knees hang. Once again, you can take 4 or 5 breaths here. When you come out of this, engage the core, press the back up, squeeze the knees together, take your other angle, open up 4 to 6 breaths in that stay, and the same in the longest stay. Supta Baddha Konasana, active triangle or seated sage pose, reclined seated sage pose. The other thing that I'm gonna offer you is reclined pigeon. So Supta Kapotasana, Raja Kapotasana is the one we do when we're on sitting up. This one is reclined. It's also called figure 4. Sometimes it's called thread the needle. But you're going to take, I'm going to start with my right leg across the left side. You can also press on the inside of the hip. Supta Kapotasana, reclined pigeon or figure 4, you're going to see it as thread the needle, where people are getting you to do this. So my problems with this is, number one, you're all wound up. You're straining your neck and your upper back. You're rolled forward in the shoulders. We never need to be short in our pecs. And you're really short-changing yourself on the hamstring and hip stretch here. So I want you to unwind out of that posture. I want you to open up these shoulders, flatten the back, feel heavy and balanced between the hip. When we work this in repetition, we're working the core, the abdominal core, and the low back and the hip. So repetition looks like this. You're going to take a big inhale. You're going to exhale. You're going to draw that knee up as far as you can, and then inhale, unwind. So you're going to take 4 to 6 repetitions. And then after you've warmed up that area and started introducing stretch to the hip, then you can take your stay. I want one hand behind or along the bottom leg, one hand along the top leg, and anchor both the knees. I like to tuck my fingers right behind the bottom knee and rest my fingers against the top knee, and then I'm going to draw in. You can see in this position that my back is open, my shoulders are wide, my hips are flat, I'm anchoring down with my tailbone. I'll unwind and do it on the same side because I want to show you exactly where you're feeling this stretch. Once again, do both sides in same repetition. Top hand to the outside knee, bottom hand to the underside of the back of the leg. Draw this up. With these shoulders open, anchoring the tailbone down, I'm right through the hamstring and hip, right, into Supta Kapotasana, reclined pigeon pose. I'm going to work hamstrings on this foam roller, only hamstrings. But always I suggest working through the gluteus medius and the gluteus maximus, especially in the upper structure of the gluteus maximus where it's very thin. We don't stretch those enough, and we work them always. So what I like to do, I like to start on the roller like I'm sitting on a log, which means I have support on the outside leg that I'm not working, and I've got my forward sit bones on the roller so that I'm just comfortable and stable. I like to get to the IT band first, and I do that by extending the working leg. So the working leg is whatever leg we're stretching without locking my knee, but I'm going to dorsal flex my toe. I'm going to lift that foot off the floor, supporting my weight with the back hand, and I'm going to work through both the outer groupings of the hamstrings and my IT band, and I'm going to hold. I'm going to reach down, flex my foot, and take that stretch. So you're going to feel this in the low back, in the hip, and right up through the hamstring and IT band. I'm going to hold. I like to stay here for a few breaths, and then I'm going to release and take that anxiety out. Once again, do them on both sides, but you can do this entire sequence on one side and then shift and do it on the other. The next place we're going to go is right up the middle of the hamstring, and you have seen people do these at the gym. So I'm going to turn myself more square to the roller. I'm going to flex my foot because I want to activate that hamstring. I have a soft bend in my knee, and I'm going to roll right through the tension in that hamstring. You're just going to take a nice roll forward and back. I like sometimes to add this fold because you're going to definitely get a big giant release. Right? Rolling through that hamstring. Try to avoid, if you're having a lot of pain, if it's very, very aggravating, you don't need to sit on that plate, on that spot. Come right to the sit bone and take off the pressure, and then get past the hot spot into the meat of the hamstring. The other thing that you're going to do on the side is come up and roll through the gluteus maximus. So I want to go over over the sit bone. I'm rotated into the glute of the working leg. I'm going to lean back, and this is a killer, guys, I'm not going to lie, and you're going to roll up the tissue of that gluteus maximus into the upper connection of the pelvic cradle. Woo! See, my hamstrings aren't causing me problems. but this position of my glutes is. And you can stretch that leg out. I like to come down to the elbow. This is going to increase the pressure, but it gives me a little bit more position to roll through, once again, staying off the hot spot right around the sit bone and the fascia and connections of the hamstrings, and staying in the glute of the the tissue of the upper gluteus maximus. Remember, what you do on this side, you're going to do on the other side. Take a day off. Maybe do this 3 times a week. Visit the other videos for the hips and quads. Visit the other videos for the adductors and knees. This whole structure of our body is connected, and the hamstrings often get short shrift because we think that forward folding is the best way to stretch them. That's all I've got for you today. Remember, www.yogablog.com. The fucking yoga book, Yoga for the 99%, is coming your way soon. Thanks for dropping by.